Good evening to all. Welcome to the session. This session is all about 200 grammar rules. And today you're going to learn the last four rules that go with nouns. Already you have learned 20 rules. And today you're going to learn the last four rules that go with nouns. That means you're going to learn 24 rules. By the end of the session, you will have learned 24 rules, all the rules related to nouns. First, what is the broad framework of this session? I will start with the four rules I'm going to explain, and all the four rules go with possessive case. This I told you guys yesterday. After that, there are 10 questions based on the same four rules to practice. And then I will present the mind map, the 24 rules, which one takes how many rules. That mind map will help a lot. Then I have brought 25 questions. All these questions are for consolidation. They're not the regular questions, they're different, they are fun, you will enjoy, and some are challenging. Now, let me go to the first rule for today, that is rule number 21. Still with possessive case. When a noun or a title consists of several words, the possessive sign is attached only to the last word. We have in English compound nouns and we also have titles. What is a compound noun? A noun that has two or three words, usually three words. And the title of a person, usually, or a post, it has three or four words. And whenever you have to use the possessive case, that goes with the nouns that have two or three words, that means compound nouns, or titles of someone or something. You have to use the possessive case with the last word. Now have a look at the examples. The king of Bhutan's visit. It's a phrase, noun phrase. The king of Bhutan. How many words are there? Four words. The king of Bhutan, because it has so many words, to the last word we should use a possessive case, apostrophe and the letter S. Based on that, the king of Bhutan's visit. The second example, the Prime Minister of Mauritius, again a lengthy expression, that's a noun phrase. The Prime Minister of Mauritius, apostrophe S, Mauritius, speech. So this is the first rule. I hope you guys have got the first rule. If you have a question, please ask me at the outset. This particular rule. There's a fifth rule, in fact, mind you guys, there's a fifth rule that goes with possessive case. Yesterday you got four, and today you're going to get four of them, total eight rules related to possessive case. If you don't have a question, say no question, sir. Then I'll go to the next rule, that is rule number 21. I hope you guys are able to make out. Please respond if there's a question. Please ask about this particular rule. If you say no, sir, then I'll go to rule number 21. 21 is over. I'll go to rule number 22. Okay, that's good. I appreciate your response. Now, rule number 22, still with possessive case. When two nouns are closely connected, the possessive case is used with the latter. Here, careful with the spelling. Latter, latter. Later, later. Later goes with time, and latter goes with position. This is an important thing you have to remember from the exam point of view. Now, what is the rule here? Rule number 22. When two nouns are closely connected, the possessive case is used with the latter, means the second in position, not the first one. Look at the example. The bakery belongs to Manoj and Bhaskar. Together, they own the bakery. Because there is close connection, we should use a possessive case with the second noun, that is a later. First one is called former, second one is called later. So Manoj and Bhaskar's bakery. Where is apostrophe? The second one. Edmund and Mary's reign. There's one important word here, reign. Reign means a rule. It has many meanings. In this context, it means a rule. Edmund and Mary's together, related. We should use the possessive case with the second noun. I hope you got it. Please say yes or no. If you say yes, sir, we got it, then I will go to rule number 23. Let me tell you, all these look very easy and very simple, but under pressure, here I try to give very short and simple sentences. In the exam, they may give lengthy sentences, they may give unfamiliar context. Then you may wonder, you may ask me, so why don't you do that? Initially, now I'm trying to teach the rules to you people. Your focus should be on the rule, catching the rule, grasping the rule. For that, the example should be very simple, familiar, and you should be able to connect to the examples. Once you master the rules, this is not the end. We have just started. So many exercises, so many questions I'm going to bring. There you will experience unfamiliar context and lengthy sentences. Fine, you got it. REIN, rain and rain. REIN goes with the animals. When you try to control horses or animals, there is a leather strap. For that, we use the word rein. And REIGN, that goes with rule. It goes with governments. Now, let me go to under pressure, not easy. Rule number 23, possessive case still. If the two nouns imply separate possession, previous rule, they are closely related. In this rule talks about the two nouns express separate position or imply separate position. We must use possessive case with each. Each one takes a possessive case. Now we are talking about Raja's novels. We are talking about Ruskin's novels. Separate, separate entities. Based on that, we should use a possessive case with Raja and also with Ruskin. Here, you have to look at the example very carefully. Raja apostrophe S, his novels, and Ruskin apostrophe S, his novels. Two separate things, separate entities. Then with each one, we have to use a possessive case. Goldsmith's and Williams poems, poems of Goldsmith, poems of William, separate entities. Then we should use a possessive case with each one. I hope you got the rule. Please say yes or no. Rule number 23. Exactly, Swarupa Rani, contradictory to the or opposite to the previous rule. Together, the second one takes the possessive case. Separate entities, each one takes the possessive case. Again, I would like to tell you guys, all these look very simple, very easy over here. But under pressure, not easy. You got to practice. Then you may ask, sir, how to master, and in the exam, how to answer or how to spot the error just like that. My suggestion for that, first you have to learn the rules, then read and revise and consolidate. After that, practice a lot of questions. First to topic wise, then all the topics together. Then you take regularly mock tests. At random, they ask the questions. And before you take the exam, you try to work on previous year's papers, the questions from previous year's papers. This is a strategy, this is an approach. I told this the very first day. Thanks for your response. Now let me go to the last rule for today and nouns related also for the time being. Rule number 24, possessive case. The letter S is omitted, dropped in a few words where too many hissing sounds would come together. When we speak, speech should be Raju's father and Priya's father visited school. Very good example. Who is this? Bhavana. Now, when we speak, we want the speech to be easy for us, for the listeners. And sometimes what happens, too many hissing sounds, it doesn't look good. And to hear also, to listen also, it doesn't make the right impact. Based on that, when you feel there are too many hissing sounds, then we should not use the S after the apostrophe. We should use the apostrophe after the word, then after the apostrophe, no S. Look at the examples. For conscience sake, for goodness sake, for justice sake. To these words, you try to add S after the apostrophe. It becomes like a hissing sound that doesn't sound good either to say or to listen. So, English people must have thought whenever you come across a situation where too many hissing sounds, then we should not use the letter S after the apostrophe. Conscience, conscience, correct pronunciation, not conscience. Apostrophe after that, no S. Goodness, and sound is S, goodness. Then we cannot use one more S, it doesn't sound good. These examples you have to memorize. Now, this is all about the four rules that go with possessive case. If you have a question regarding possessive case. Possessive case, you have got 8 rules. Yesterday 4, today 4. Any question regarding the possessive case, please ask me. If you say no questions regarding possessive case, then you have to work on. There are 10 sentences, 10 examples. All the 10 sentences go with the rules you have learned today. You have to answer. Some are right, some are wrong. Good evening. A little late, but no problem. Now, someone has responded already. All these practice questions related to possessive case, the rules based on what I've just taught you guys today. First one, for Jesus' sake, don't do that. A lot of students have said no errors, sir. Absolutely right. I appreciate that. The sentence is correct. They all follow Moses' laws. They all follow Moses' laws. Is it right or wrong? Question number 2. Is it right or wrong? Please mention the question number. It is correct. There is no error. Question number 2 also absolutely right. They all follow. You cannot say Moses' laws. It doesn't sound good. Moses apostrophe after that no S laws. Question number 3, is it right or wrong? Please mention the question number. That is very important. Otherwise, I get confused. I have a request. Please don't confuse a master. So mention the question number, then say no error, correct, wrong. If it is wrong, what is the correct expression? Question number 3, there is an error. I see a lot of students, a few students have said no error. I appreciate those who have said there is an error. This sentence is not correct. What is the reason? It is Chris's new car. It sounds ridiculous. You cannot say that. So here we should not use a letter S after the apostrophe. So what is the correct expression? It is Chris' new car. While writing, while saying Chris' new car, that's what we say. But it is Chris apostrophe new car. After apostrophe, you should not use the letter S. That's very important. Eliminate yes, that is better. Now coming to question number 4. He loves to read Dickens novels. Is this right or wrong? We'll see the scores. Out of 10, you should get at least 8, 8 plus. That is highly appreciable. Question number 4, there is an error. Charles Dickens, how do you write his name? Dickens, Charles Dickens. The last letter is S. Then this is not, it is like you're not writing his name properly. He loves to read Dickens. That is the name of the person. Charles Dickens, a very popular writer in the past. Dickens, the last letter S, after that apostrophe, and you should not use the letter S after Dickens. So this sentence is not correct. Let me show you how to write that one. Question number 4. Here, this should not be here. Dickens, one word. After Dickens, we should use the apostrophe. No, no, no. That's what. That's the reason why I have brought this example precisely. He loves to read. Because here, what happens, please listen very carefully. Sometimes in the exam, they may give certain titles you're not aware of, titles of books in the plural form. You don't know that it's a title. Then you use your logic. The noun is in the plural form. Then you think there should be a plural verb. But the moment you know it is a title of a book, then obviously you know it has to be the singular verb. The same way, you don't know the writer's names, then it is not easy to spot the error. Nothing to worry. Question number 5, what is the answer? Oh, you guys have gone to question number 6, 5, no error. Beatles, name of the rock group, the Beatles. Beatles ends in the letter S. Based on that, we should use the apostrophe after the letter S. And after the apostrophe, you should not use the letter S. That means what? The sentence is absolutely right. Now, please go to question number 6. He spends a lot of time for appearance sake. Oh, Sirisha says already answered 6, no error. Swarupa Rani also. Rajashekar. You guys are very fast. That's good. I appreciate. There is no error. He spends a lot of time for appearance sake. For the sake of appearance, appearance's sake is not correct. Appearance sake. The sentence is right. Now please go to question number 7 or sentence number 7. That's an easy one. Should not be that difficult. Her mother in law's behavior is not at all acceptable. Is this right or wrong? For peace sake, huh? That's good. Hissing sound, huh? Mother in law's behavior, is it right or wrong? Oh, this is a bit strange. Some students say correct, some students say wrong. It is absolutely right. Listen very carefully. What is the reason? Here we are not talking about the plural form. We are talking about the possessive case. What is the first rule you have learned today? Nouns with many words or titles. For those, we should use the apostrophe after the last word, and we should use the letter S. Based on that, mother in law, lengthy compound noun. The last word, law. To that, we should add apostrophe and the letter S. Seventh one is, oh, someone has gone to the 10th one. No, let us do slowly. Too fast, not advisable because it's a heterogeneous group. We have to strike balance. Question number 7, absolutely right. Her mother in law's behavior. Whose behavior are you talking about? Eye opener. That's wonderful. Question number 8, what is the answer? They're ready to implement the commander in chief's orders. Commander in chief, again a noun with many words. Then we should add the apostrophe and the letter S to the last word. Based on that, the sentence is absolutely right. No problem with that also. They have been waiting eagerly for the King of Spain's visit. Is this right or wrong? Don't get confused between the plural form and the possessive form. Already you have learned plural form, we have to add S to the key word, mothers in law, commanders in chief. But here we are not talking about the plural form. We are talking about the possessive case. Possessive case is different altogether. Question number 9, absolutely right. There is no error. I appreciate. Rohit's and Raj's shops are next to each other. Now go to sentence number 10. Rohit's and Raj's shops are next to each other. Here we are talking about Rohit's shop and Raj's shop because the sentence is next to each other. There are two shops, they are next to each other. Based on that, the sentence is absolutely right. Now let me ask the question, who has got all the 10 correct? I will wait for your response. 10 out of 10. 8 is good. King of Mauritius. Ah, yes. No, no. There you have to use apostrophe yes because it's a title. Title. That's good. I appreciate. You're very sharp. Private working aspirant. That's a good question. 7, 8, good enough. You should be very happy. Now let us go to this is something very important. Listen very carefully. The other day, someone was asking, so how to remember the rules? Generally, what happens, those who prepare for competitive exams, they have to learn a lot of stuff quant, reasoning, English, current affairs, computers. So much is there to learn, and general studies. Not easy to remember whatever you learn. Today, when you attend the session, I may tell 5 rules or 10 rules. You listen, you understand, you feel happy. For today, it is good enough. After 1 week, you ask yourself, do I remember those 10 rules? The chances are bleak, means the chances are less. Then comes then comes the question how to remember the rules. I suggest my students always try to create mind maps. This is a mind map. Take the concept. No, don't focus on any distraction. Please don't focus on any distraction whatsoever. Focus on the master, focus on the questions. It is sheer waste of time. Now, when you take a particular concept, what is the concept here? Noun, part of speech, the very first part of speech. First, you should ask the question, how many rules are there? Now, as of now, you have got 24 rules. Then, how to remember? You should ask that question. Create the mind map. You start with the definition. You should know what a noun means. Then proper nouns. How many rules have you got? You got four rules. Collective noun, one rule. Plural nouns, two rules. Uncountable noun, one rule. Gender, one rule. Number, seven rules, including preposition one. And case, yesterday four, today four. Total eight rules. Now, first you should have the broad picture, bird's eye view. How many rules? 24 rules. How are they divided? Proper noun, how many? You should ask yourself. Collective noun, how many? Then once you do this, then next to each one, usually I haven't done it because of I wanted to show here. When it comes to, give me a second. When you know there are four rules that go with proper nouns, then you have to again write what are the four rules. One, you don't have to write all the words, not required. You have to write the key letters. Proper noun, like this, capital letter. The first rule, I'll show you the first one. Second rule, proper noun, no article. Write this way. You don't have to write all the words. Then proper noun, article, exception. Write that way. Some countries they take the definite article the. Then proper noun used as common noun. Then we should use a definite article the. You could write the. You have to make a note this way. Then what happens if you make a note this way? You take a A4 or A3 sheet and just small letters. First, you draw the mind map related to nouns and make a note what are the different dimensions or the aspects. Each aspect, each dimension, how many rules, and what are those rules. And collective noun already you have learned. What is that? Usually take singular verb, singular pronoun. Write that way. But division, if there is division, you are talking about individual members, plural verb, plural pronoun. If you write this way, if you write this way, easy to, while revising, you don't have to spend a lot of time. One shot, you can a look, glance, you can recollect all the rules. But there's a problem here. You may ask, so what is the problem? First, you have to write this way. Give it a try today. And tomorrow, when you have a look, you may not be able to make out what is this CL, what is this NA. You may get stuck. Then refer the notebook. First round, second round, and two rounds. Then you know what the letters stand for. You don't have to refer the notebook. That's what I would like to. Unable to see what you're writing, sir. Is it outside the frame? Okay. See here, when it comes to, perhaps you can see now, when it comes to case, how many rules have you learned? Eight, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Just draw lines. Each one you write the key letters, not the words. And all the rules on one sheet. Then have a look once, twice. Definitely. I'm not ambidextrous. I can write with my right hand, but not that good. In a way, ambidextrous. Fine. But have you got the concept? That is important. That is very important. Now let us go to consolidation questions. Now these questions are not the regular questions. Must you listen to me? I'm going to present 25 questions. All these questions are related to consolidation. When I take regular classes also, I tell students because they focus so much on learning, learn. Morning to evening, they learn. Nothing wrong with learning. I don't say it is something wrong. But when you learn a lot, you have to squeeze in some time to consolidate. Otherwise, what happens? You may learn 100 rules. You haven't tried to consolidate. After 2 months, all the 100 rules they disappear. When you try to recollect, you cannot recollect. What is important when you learn a lot? Consolidation is very important. Then comes the question you may ask, so how to consolidate? First, you have to learn the rule, then, you have to read, After the session, ask yourself, have I understood all the rules? Are the concepts crystal clear? Then revise once a week or twice a week. Then practice a lot of questions, practice mock tests, practice questions from previous year's papers. All this results in consolidation. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, how many rules are there related to proper nouns? Then, if you cannot answer, refer the notebook. Now, let us have a look at. We'll do it very slowly. These are not the regular. My pleasure, Swarupa Rani. Thanks for that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Harihar Pradhan. Please, no, these are not at the outset. These are not the regular questions. We have to do very slowly, and these are related to consolidation. The very first question: what are the rules that go with proper nouns? You have to write at least the key words. You don't have to write the sentences. I expect you guys to write the key words. Proper nouns, what are the rules? You have learned three rules. At least four rules you have learned. At least three you should be able to recollect. Mind map is the best solution to avoid confusion. And also, first you answer this one, then I will tell something interesting. What are the rules that go with proper nouns? One is capital letter. You can list out or you can recollect, you can keep writing. Capital letter, that's right. Wherever you use proper noun, irrespective of the position in the sentence, the first letter of a proper noun should be capital letter. Wonderful, you got the first one. There are four rules. What is the second one? Proper nouns, names of countries, we should not use any article, generally speaking. You got the second rule. And what is the third rule? Exceptions, names of countries, though proper nouns, they come under exceptions, they take the definite article the. And what are the examples for those before some countries? What are those countries? The US, the UK, not that important, you don't consider. Tell me the other examples. Countries like, I want you to list out at least, mention at least a few countries. The UK, the US, the Irish Republic, the US, the UK, they may not ask in the exam because a lot of students know. The Irish Republic, that is right. Then Finland, I doubt. The Netherlands, the Ukraine, the Irish Republic, the Republic of Ireland. Yes. Next one, the last fourth rule. We can use a proper noun as a common noun, but you should use a definite article, the. Very good. Now, question number two. I'll tick each question. See, this way, what happens, you can consolidate, you can test yourself. The regular questions spot the error. That is one way to answer, but this is initially better, in my opinion. Is it correct to say staffs? Say yes or no, that's enough. The Republic of Congo, very good example. Who is this? Prithvi Raja. The Republic of Congo, that is also right. I appreciate. When you come up with new examples, I really appreciate. But do remember, when I give the examples, I keep the exam in mind. Quite often they use certain examples. Those are very important. At the outset, you have to master those examples. Then you can think of other examples. That is a very good approach. It is correct. When do we say staffs? Staff is a collective noun. Usually it is in the singular form, but we can also use it in the plural form. When we talk about the staff of different companies, the staff of different organizations, the staff of different universities, then we can use staffs. Absolutely no problem. Now, you have answered the second question. Let us go to question number three. Which verb slash pronoun is usually used with collective nouns? Staffs of different schools. That's right. Please go to question number three. Which verb, singular or plural, pronoun singular or plural, is usually used with collective nouns? There is unity, we use singular. Yes, singular. Answer is singular verb, singular pronoun. Now, when you look at this question, you should also recollect what are the examples which are important from the exam point of view when it comes to collective nouns: committee, jury, team, staff, family, group. These examples should be at your fingertips. Question number four. When do we use a plural verb, a plural pronoun with a collective noun? Divided. We talk about the committee, the jury, divided. Or we talk about individual members in the team. Then it takes a plural verb, a plural pronoun. Perfect. You have answered this one also. Division. And also, when we talk about individual members, remember that way also. There are two dimensions. One is division, the other one, we talk about individual members. I gave one example, if you remember. The team members gave their presentations. Presentations are happy. The team members are happy with their presentations. Here it talks about individual members. Now, let us go to question number five. Hope you guys are enjoying these questions. Please give the feedback. This is a different approach altogether. Question number five. Is it correct to use a singular verb with titles of books that are in plural? Yes, division, plural verb, plural pronoun, and no division, unanimous. It should be a singular verb, a singular pronoun. Now, answer question number five. Thank you very much. That's what I want. I want you guys to enjoy the session. Fag end of the day session should be quite enjoyable and enriching. Is it correct to use a singular verb with titles of books that are in plural? Yes, sir. Perfect. Examples: Arabian Nights is a very popular book. Arabian Nights, plural title. We use a singular verb. That's very good. Now, question number six. Can we use the definite article the before names of countries? The Musketeers, Three Musketeers. Very good. The Three Musketeers. Question number six. It is like again consolidation. Already have answered in a different form. Now it is, can we use the definite article the before names of countries? Say yes or no. Usually no, but exceptions are there. Yes. When we use a proper noun as a common noun, what is the rule? Yes, that is good, Bala Saraswati. No, and exceptions are there. The exceptions are Netherlands, all these examples. Very good. Now, please go to question number seven. When we use a proper noun as a common noun, we can use in English proper nouns as common nouns. Then what is the rule? Durga Bhavani, are you talking about question number seven? Then you are right. First one to respond. I appreciate. Bhavana also says we have to use the definite article the. When we use a proper noun as a common noun, what is the rule? We should use a definite article the. He is the Milton of our group. If you remember the example, we should use a definite article the. Do uncountable nouns have plural forms? Question number eight. Who is this Aman? That's a wonderful example. I appreciate that. You're so fascinated. That is because of your passion. No, do uncountable nouns have plural forms? Answer no. But give some examples for uncountable nouns. That is important. You should have at least a few examples at your fingertips. I will wait for your response. A few examples for uncountable nouns. He is Abdul Kalam of my school. That is also a very good example. He can be a role model to many youngsters. Piece of advice. We can use a phrase, piece of advice. But what are the examples? News, piece of advice. information, scenery, luggage, furniture. Very good. See, this way what happens, each one of you has given one example. When you have a look at other all these, then you can recollect all of them. Furniture, someone has said furniture, information, scenery. So this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I appreciate. Now let us go to question number 9. We'll take one at a time. Scenery, furniture, very good. 10 pieces of furniture, a piece of advice, poetry, baggage, luggage, equipment. Oh, wonderful. Today we have got new examples. I really appreciate. Equipment I have not given, that's a very good example. And baggage I have not given, that's also a very good example. I give the example luggage. Now let us go to question number 9. Is it correct to say 10 kilometers is a long distance? Yes, it is correct. It is correct. Already have learned the rule. But what is the rule that goes with this example? Please tell me. What is the rule that goes with question number 9? How can we say, when can we say is a long distance? When we use nouns that express time, distance, weight, then we can use the singular verb that you have to recollect. Distance, time, weight, the currency. You can use a singular verb. Measurements, that is also right. Question number 10. What are the examples for things to which masculine gender is attributed? Is. 10 kilometers is. Who is this Babu? I think you are new to this could be your first session. I will tell the rule. When you talk about distance, time, money, weight, though the noun is in the plural form, we should use a singular verb. 10 kilometers. If we use our common sense, we should say are. But English does not depend on common sense. English does not depend on logic. 10 kilometers, though the noun is in the plural form, we should use a singular verb. And here you have to recollect distance, time, weight, money, all these. What are the yes, I could make out. So try to watch. This is the fifth session, I suppose, sixth session. Try to watch other videos, then you'll get a clear picture. What are the examples? Have you answered? Sun, summer, winter, death, and also time. They express what? Power and strength. Anything that expresses power and strength, they attributed, not we. Britishers attributed the masculine gender. Very good. You could recollect all the rules I have given. First, that is important. Then you add more examples. That's wonderful. What is question number 11? What are the examples for things to which feminine gender is attributed? You have to write the examples. I will tick this one. Hmm. 10, we have done 11. What are the examples for things to which feminine gender is attributed? Nature, nature, moon, earth, seasons, two seasons, spring, autumn. And spring is the most beautiful season. In many exams they have not given summer and winter. Reason could be very harsh seasons. But I do remember in many competitive exams, they have given questions related to spring season and autumn, feminine gender. Now this is also over. Question number 12. Is ship masculine gender or feminine gender? Earth also, yes. Nature, earth, moon, spring, autumn. Ganga river considered feminine. Ship is feminine. Why? We cannot question. English, there's so many exceptions. When you spend time on English, I don't say so many, at least 10%. And you may wonder, how come the rule says that, but here I see something different, completely different. Every language has exceptions. English also has exceptions, perhaps more. What could be the reason? English has taken words from different languages, different cultures. When it takes a particular word from a particular language. It follows the rules of that particular language. Now, let me give an example. You all, I'm sure you guys like this one, and you have regularly. How do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this word? Pizza. How do you pronounce this? Just answer my question. Then I will take you to the next slide. Question number 13. Beautiful ship. Huh, usually, yes. A lot of across the world, those who are not good at Italian language, they say pizza. But actual pronunciation here, this is an Italian word. It's an Italian dish. Obviously, it has to be an Italian word. ZZ is pronounced as TZ. Imagine the spelling is Pitza. Then how do you pronounce pizza? T sound should be there. But a lot of people say those who sell, those who buy, they say pizza. That is not correct. Pizza. T sound should be there. Imagine the spelling is Pitza. Pizza. Now you may ask, so how do we know that? You cannot, because it's an Italian word. Again, a lot of youngsters, they don't buy the bottles of shampoos, they buy the small packs. What is the spelling of that? Sachet. When they go to a shop, what do they say? Every country has its own version of English. Yes, you're right in a way. Perfect. A lot of people say, give me one sachet. It's a French word. You should not say sachet. The correct pronunciation, sachet. Sachet. Now you may ask, sir, where is the T sound? There is no T sound, sachet, not sachet. It's a French word. How do we know it's a French word? How do we know we have to pronounce that way? Because of that, when it comes to English, certain words are mispronounced. Nothing wrong in that. You don't have to feel guilty about that. Anyone will make a mistake. In fact, I'll tell you something interesting. How do you pronounce this word? After this, we'll go to question number 13. Please answer this question. Buffet, yes. Bouquet, yes. Which one is this? Naresh. I don't know answer for this question because, okay. So you're excused. Now, how do you pronounce this? Tsunami. T is silent. Psychology. P is silent. How do you pronounce Rama? No, no, please answer that question. You can say, a foreigner may say Rama or Rama. Same spelling we use. For a girl, we say Rama. For a boy, we say Rama. We use the same spelling. So that way, every country has certain exceptions, but in English, perhaps more. Now let us go to question number 13. We are running out of time. What are the examples for nouns that always have the same form for singular and plural? Already some students have answered sheep, deer, salmon, trout, cod. There's one more which is very important from the exam point of view. Which one is that? No one has written that example. Sheep, deer, one group. Salmon, trout, cod, one group. Offspring, that is important. Aircraft, spacecraft. Very good. You have answered this one. Question number 14. What are the examples for nouns that always have the plural form and take a plural verb? Focus on the key words. Always plural form, take a plural verb. Yes, trout, Trout, trout. Salmon, trout, cod, types of fish. Now we have done with the 13th question. You should answer question number 14. What are the examples for nouns that always have the plural form and take a plural verb? Yes, trousers, binoculars, spectacles, shorts, pants, tongs, scissors, all these examples. No, 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 look at the question carefully. Always plural form, take a plural verb. Trousers, shorts, tights, scissors, tongs, spectacles, binoculars, pants, Pantaloons, the other day, someone said. Now let us go to question number 14. What are the examples for nouns that always have the plural form and take that is over? Now let us go to the 15th one. What are the examples for nouns that always have the plural form but take a singular verb? Singular verb, gymnastics, linguistics, acoustics, Olympics. Oh, new examples, very good. Naresh, I appreciate that. And always plural form, but a singular verb. First you try to remember this way. All the subjects, one group. Mathematics, physics, linguistics, economics, statistics, one group. Easy to remember, easy to recollect. Then news. Diseases, one group. Three diseases: measles, mumps, rickets. Try to segregate, then easy to remember. Subjects, one group: linguistics, statistics, physics, mathematics, economics. Diseases, one group: measles, mumps, rickets. That way, easy to remember, easy to recollect. Very good. Now let us go to question number 16. Which one is correct? Gentry have agreed or Gentry has agreed? Let us go to what is the news? The news is read by. It takes a singular verb. Perfect. Answer question number 16. Gentry have agreed. What is the reason? Then logistics is under control. Logistics is being maintained. That I have to cross check. I can tell tomorrow, private aspirant. Now, here, which one is correct? Gentry have or Gentry has? You have to recollect one rule. What is that? Some nouns are always in the plural form, a singular form, but take a plural verb. Gentry, singular form, but always takes a plural verb. So, what is correct? Gentry have agreed. That is correct. If you're not aware of the rule, you may think Gentry has agreed is correct. Now, let us go to question number 17. What is the question? What is the plural of sister in law? This is over. Already some students have answered. 16 is over. 17, sister-in-law, compound noun, plural form. The key word takes S or ES. What is the key word over here? Sister. Based on that, sisters-in-law. Now please read question number 18. Criterion is singular or plural? Criterion is singular or plural. Sisters in law, mothers in law. But when we talk about father in law and mother in law, we say in laws. My in laws have come. My in laws have visited. There you should say in laws. Criterion singular. Criteria plural. Criterion is singular. What is the plural of that? Criteria. Now let us go to, this is an important one. What is the plural of alumnus? Alumni or alumni? Either way it is correct. Very good. Immediate answer, I appreciate. Question number 20. What is the plural of medium? Medium. Question number 20 is an important one. Swarupa Rani, you remember, that's very good. You have associated. Usually medium singular, media plural. But when we talk about the culture medium in the research labs where they use agar agar in petri dishes, there the plural becomes medium becomes mediums. So you have to write two words, media and also mediums. Both are correct. Is it correct to say table's legs? No. We have to say the legs of the table. The legs of the table, correct? And what is the rule here? We cannot use a possessive case with things or objects, books, tables, anything for that matter. But when we attribute the gender, we can use. See the next question. Is it correct to say nature's beauty? Legs of the table is correct. Is it correct to say nature's beauty? Say yes or no. It is correct. What is the reason? Nature, English people have attributed, nature is very beautiful. Anything that expresses beauty and grace, they attributed the feminine gender. Based, and we can use a possessive case. When the gender is attributed, Earth's gravity, Sun's heat, yes, of course, you can use a possessive case. Question number 22, it is correct. Now, question number 23. If a plural noun ends in the letter S, where should we place the apostrophe? This is again an important rule. Nature is feminine, so nature's beauty. That's right, Kalyan. Yes, 22, Bala Saraswati. Please go to question number 23. Anything that expresses strength and power, strong, masculine gender, beauty and grace, feminine gender. If a plural noun ends in the letter S, where should we place the apostrophe? After S. That's what I expect from you. Girls' hostel. What is a plural noun? Farmers. Very good example. Who is this? Ishwar. I have given girls' hostel, boys' hostel, teachers' wing, teachers' block, farmers' problems. Farmers, plural noun. After S, we should use the apostrophe. That's a very good example. Ishwar, I appreciate. 24. Is it correct to say the day's work is over? When it comes to concepts related to time, space, weight, we can use a possessive case. Based on that, 24 is correct. A week's holiday, a year's time, the day's work, all these are correct. A foot's length, that is also correct. How do you use a possessive case when it comes to nouns with many words? The last question for today. How do you use the possessive case when it comes to nouns with many words? The last word. The last word takes the possessive case. That's all about consolidation questions. We still have 7 minutes. Please don't leave. I want you guys to ask questions related to rules, generally speaking, related to nouns, generally speaking, and related to exam, generally speaking. Let us use the 7 minutes. We still have 7 minutes. If you have questions or doubts regarding your preparation, regarding rules, regarding English grammar, regarding reading comprehension skill, vocabulary, any dimension whatsoever, let us use the time for that. Initially, if you have a lot of apprehensions and fears, questions, try to ask better. Thank you. Consolidation, happy with consolidation. I'm sure. See, this is a different approach altogether. As I said, different approach. You must have enjoyed a lot. And also, it helps in consolidation. That is very important. What is this? Very useful session to brush up the basics. Crystal clear. Now, if you have a question, please don't hesitate. I will be happy to answer because we still have 5 minutes. We are happy with consolidation. That's very good. How to handle Hindu editorial, sir? Provide some tricks, sir. Who is this Naresh? See, actually, when it comes to the Hindu editorials, I'll spend 5 minutes. Usually, what happens, many language learners, many candidates, we tell them to read the Hindu paper every day. They don't read. One of the reasons, I hope you guys are interested to listen to me. I'm going to tell something really interesting. When it comes to the Hindu paper, generally what happens, students try to avoid, candidates try to avoid. The reasons can be justified. What are the reasons? They cannot relate to the editorial because of the lack of information, background information, a lot of words, the meanings of which they don't know, and they try to read based on someone's advice, and they find it very difficult to comprehend or understand, they stop. But do remember, initially not easy to understand. When you read an editorial, you may get headache, you may get irritated, you may find it quite boring, but nothing to worry. Keep reading. After 1 week or so, you will be able to comprehend, you will be able to relate to the content. And two problems: background information. Google, today you have the information at your tips. Google, get the background information, read the editorial, you can follow. Meanings of new words. Refer the dictionary, find out the meanings, you can follow the editorial. Not only the editorial, you have to read the headlines. Headlines also, so many words you can learn, so many phrases you can learn. And why do I insist on the editorial? When you read the editorials, what happens? You get exposed to effective words, standard phrases, phrasal verbs, idioms, and all these are very useful and relevant from the exam point of view to the exam. You'll be surprised to know in the exam you get the same words, same idioms, same phrasal verbs, and same phrases. There's so many, but when you read regularly the paper for 3 months or 6 months, all these get consolidated, they get registered at the subconscious level. In the exam, when you see a question, something tells you, oh, this is the answer because of already registered at the subconscious level. And when you do that for 6 months, what happens? In the exam, you find many questions familiar and you will answer many questions with a smile. That will give you a lot of happiness. That will give you a lot of happiness. You will enjoy the session while taking the exam. Oh, I know this, I know that, this is familiar, this is familiar, we have done this already, I have seen this word many a time. This will be the response. So try to read. Someone asked me, so how to read? English novels also you got to read, yes, but initially don't read non-fiction. Try to read fiction novels. Try to read fiction. What is the difference between fiction and non-fiction? Fiction means someone's imagination. Someone's imagination, like our movies, hero, heroine, villain, all these. Non-fiction based on facts. When you try to read at least once a week on Sundays, you try to read English novels, fiction. You get exposed to a lot of words you may get in the exam, a lot of expressions you may get in the exam. But don't spend too much time on English novels. You should spend time on the Hindu paper. What is the reason? What is the reason? Hindu paper, same words, same expressions you come across in the exam. That way, the Hindu paper is very useful. Editorials are extremely useful. Yes, Aman, you're right. Some novels, next, tomorrow, I will tell a few English novels. And do remember, I would like to caution you guys. English novels, don't spend too much time. Not advisable. You may get carried away because English novels easy to read and understand. The Hindu editorials, on the contrary, very difficult to understand. You get attracted to something that is easy. So don't get carried away. Read English novels only on Sundays, but Monday to Saturday, try to read the Hindu editorials. That will help in the long run. That will help in the long run. And you'll have a nice feeling. Monday to Saturday, the Hindu editorials and the headlines, and every Sunday, at least a few pages. You cannot complete the entire novel on a particular day. What I suggest, take some English novel, fiction, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow I can suggest a few titles and the authors' names. Take one book, one English novel, and allot 30 minutes or 60 minutes. Let's say you have read 5 pages, be happy, fold there, and next Sunday, continue from there. It is not a rule that you have to remember the entire story of English novel. So that's all for today. Good night to everyone. I'll see you tomorrow with the new topic, pronouns. Pronouns. And tomorrow I may bring nouns related questions, actual questions, all the rules, covering all the rules from different competitive exams. Thank you very much for being with me till 8.